There needs to be hotkeys for StreamYard. Hello, people. I hope you're all doing well this morning / afternoon. Welcome back to the coffee stream. And it is Mobility Monday, of course. So I have some disability stuff for you today. And as the title says, we're going to play Spot the Ableism. I have one article that is pretty clear-cut actual ableism. And I have one article that is absolute bullshit. And then I have one article that we could go either way on. So, yeah, we're going to play Spot the Ableism here. So let's say hello to everybody who's in chat. Hello, Spittlebuggies. Hello, Undead Ramen. Hello, Pink Hollow. And hello, Ryan. I hope you guys are all having a fun day. And hopefully we will get a few more people in. And let's get this started. So we also have a little Twitter video that is kind of related to one of the articles that I have. So we're going to watch that first. If I can get it shared properly and playing properly. There's the quote tweet. Where's the quote tweet here? Missed this last week. Okay, so hold on. Let's get this shared so that you guys can see it. Brian Lilly is, as if you are familiar with this channel, he is a reporter for the Toronto Sun. So we're going to take a look at this. Maybe I should actually select. There we go. Okay. Your tab audio check. Okay, good. All right. So this says, missed this last week when Justin Trudeau was at the UN. He was asked if Joe Biden was wrong to say the pandemic was over. His answer was essentially yes, Biden was wrong. He didn't utter those words, but the intent was there. So here we go.
Of vaccines that have come out, and we encourage people to get vaccinated the way Canadians got vaccinated in record numbers before. Get your vaccines up to date, and we will make sure that this pandemic gets behind us as quickly as we possibly can.
May I ask? Okay, it's going to play again. Okay.
In Canada, our focus has been every step of the way on listening to science, on responding to the facts on the ground. And what we have seen consistently is that people are still struggling in hospitals across our country with the impacts of COVID. We all want this pandemic to be behind us as quickly as possible, which is why there is good news in a new series of vaccines that have come out. We encourage people to get vaccinated the way Canadians got vaccinated in record numbers before. Get your vaccines up to date, and we will make sure that this pandemic gets behind us as quickly as we possibly can.
So, okay, Ryan pointed out that my mic is being funky. StreamYard was doing this last week. I'm going to have to leave the studio and come back. Hold on a second, guys. Let me see how bad this is. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me leave the studio, and I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully that has fixed the microphone issue. Waiting. Oh, that's better. Yeah, I don't know what it is with StreamYard, but it's been really weird lately. Does anybody know if OBS has fixed its accessibility issues? Because this is getting annoying. Let's see. So, there we go. Hopefully that's better for everybody. Hello, Costin. So, yeah. According to Trudeau, Joe Biden was wrong to say that the pandemic was over, even though he didn't actually say those words. We can figure out that that's what he meant by those words. You know what? I'm actually going to play it again because the sound was so bad. That's what I'm going to do. Because the sound was not good, I'm going to reshare that with you guys. And then we will go to the next article that has to do with, like, it is tangential to this video. So, okay, let's replay this video clip, and we will see how this works. Okay. So, apparently Trudeau was asked if Joe Biden was wrong to say the pandemic was over. So this is what he said.
Get your vaccines up to date, and we will make sure that this pandemic gets behind us as quickly as we possibly can.
Okay, here we go. It's gonna
start. In Canada, our
I don't
focus
want to
has been
say he
every
is
step of the way
wrong, but
on listening to science,
did you hear that?
on
Keith
responding
click
to the facts on the ground. And what we have seen consistently is that people are still struggling in hospitals across our country with the impacts of COVID.
He is
We
laughing.
all want this pandemic to be behind us as quickly as possible.
He is
which is why
laughing.
there
Holy
is good
shit!
news in a new series of vaccines.
Pincalo said he was laughing, and I can hear it. He is laughing.
The way Canadians got vaccinated in record numbers before. Get your vaccines up to date, and we will make sure that this pandemic gets behind us as quickly as we possibly can.
May I ask?
That's the biggest non stuff. Because StreamYard is a piece of shit that can't get shit together. Yep. OBS stuck still about blind accessibility. Ugh. No, I wasn't talking about Streamlabs OBS glitch vision. I was just talking about regular OBS. That's what I was talking about. Because the YouTube studio, unlike Twitch studio, is absolute garbage, and I can't use it worth shit. So, yeah. So, our next article is tangential to that video. It is an opinion piece that I found yesterday while I was perusing my Apple News feed, which I have started doing to find disability related stuff, because that's what's really fun is I can actually research or search topics that I want to find. Like I can type in disability or blindness or outer space or stuff like that, and that way I can get news stories that are not just from Canada but from other parts of the world. So Okay, let's get this. I don't want my DM with Pinkalo. I want my DM with me. Okay, here we go. Now it's cooperating with me. All right. So I got. Oh well, I'll move on to that after this is over. Okay. All right. Where is that opinion piece? Nope, not that one. There it is. Okay. That is the one that I want. Click here. Open. Thank you. Okay. Now we will share this stuff. All right. Share. Chrome tab. All right, here we go. So this, as I said, is an opinion piece that I found. So we are going to take a look at it. I think it was from News or no Business and no, sorry, Newsweek is where it's from, I believe. Biden declaring the pandemic over disregards. So declaring the pandemic over disregards the danger disabled Americans face. Okay, but if you're immunocompromised, whether there's a pandemic or not, you're in danger anyway. So should the rest of the world wrap themselves up in Tyvek's for you? Oh, have they? Blind press, look up current hospital numbers of Ontario hospital numbers for COVID. I will do that. After this, after I read this, I'll do that. Not perfect yet, but better than it was a few versions ago. I will have to check that out. Yeah, Pinkala was playing Lumberjack over the weekend, Costin. So, so this is written by Eric Garcia, an MSNBC opinion columnist. So he says that Biden's remarks on 60 Minutes on Sunday that the pandemic is over must have demoralized people with disabilities who have already experienced the awful side of their fellow Americans gleefully celebrating no longer having to wear masks on airplanes. Okay, let me explain something to you, entitled person who wrote this opinion piece. As an adult with a disability, and not every disability affects your physical health, right? So to make a generalized statement that people with disabilities are all affected by COVID because of their health is kind of a big wrong generalization. But if you are an immunocompromised adult, you are an adult still, and you are responsible for making sure that you are safe. So, if you are still terrified of COVID, you can wear a mask and you can get vaccinated and you can take advantage of the grocery deliveries and all of the delivery services that are available to you. And you can social distance and you can wash your hands and you can carry around Purell with everywhere you go. But you do not have the right to make the rest of society feel like shit because finally, after 2 years, we get to take the fucking masks off for good. So, like, holy fuck, the entitlement. It feels like the work that people with disabilities did to make themselves heard before and during the pandemic was all for naught, and that all of the conditions that led to the pandemic disproportionately killing disabled Americans. No, it was disproportionately killing people with comorbidities. And not every comorbidity is a disability. Okay, I'm sorry. And not every disability is a comorbidity. Like, for example, I am disabled, but I am blind. That doesn't affect my lungs, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot make these sweeping generalizations. You sound like an idiot. Why did it put me all the way back to where I don't want to go? Um, uh, and so just because the masks are coming off and people are saying, okay, it's time to go back to the office now, you're mad that it's what? That it's time to go back to the office now? You know that there are still way more remote job opportunities than there ever have been before because of the pandemic, right? So get off your ass and apply for one of them. Like, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, on the day the 60 Minutes interview aired, the the 7-day moving average for deaths for COVID-19 clocked in at 377. You have 330 million people in your country. 377 deaths from COVID over a week is really not that big for 330 million people. Also, how many of those COVID deaths were actually from COVID? Because all throughout this pandemic, government agencies have been caught inflating the numbers. So, how many people of that 377 actually died of actual COVID and, didn't come in with a heart attack and also test positive for COVID, or didn't come in with something else and also test positive for COVID? And then they were like, oh, they're dead. I guess they died of COVID. Medical mistakes. Yeah. Oh. Many Americans desperately want to move on from the pandemic, which is understandable. It led to more than 1 million Americans dying. Okay. Many more losing their jobs or having their lives fundamentally altered in some way or another. But the disability community, which suffered a disproportionate number of deaths, still suffers a disproportionate number of danger. That's because among our community, there is going to be a higher number of people that suffer from things like compromised health or weakened immune system That doesn't mean that every disabled person is suffering from that. And it certainly doesn't mean that the rest of people who aren't disabled should have to continue to mask and glove and all of this stuff. I'm sorry. It's time to move on. Nobody's stopping you from protecting yourselves. Just because the mask mandates are over doesn't mean that there has now become the opposite mandate. Like, if you're wearing a mask, you're now going to get a fine. Like, that's not happening. Nobody's stopping you from wearing a mask. What is your problem? Apparently, according to this study conducted by a completely unbiased committee, not because it's specifically the National Councils of Disabilities, they occurred in facilities that accommodated not just senior citizens, but also people with disabilities between the ages of 31 and 64. And on top of that, they were all often triaged out of COVID treatment when beds and personnel were scarce. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay. That doesn't mean that the pandemic isn't winding down or over. It means that during the pandemic, your government fucked up and failed you. So another study conducted before vaccines were available. So before vaccines, that's a very important part. Found that people with developmental disorders were 3.06 times more likely to die from COVID-19, while people with intellectual disabilities were 2.75 more likely, and people with spinal bifida or other spinal cord injuries were 2.48 times more likely to die. Okay, so okay, let's take the highest number, 3.06 times 0.01. Okay, that's what okay, and even if we take the highest before the vaccine was available and when death was at 1%. 1% times 1 times 3.06 is 3.06. It's a Mr. Goatman. Obesity isn't what they're talking about, but should be, right? This is insane and very disingenuous. Like, oh my God. Okay, so that's the entitlement, insane entitlement in, like, holy fuck, the amount of entitlement that disabled person has. Let's take a look. Let's do what Pink Hollow suggested. Current Ontario COVID-19 hospitalization numbers. Let's see. Okay. So, Ontario dashboard. Estimates are based on 1 to 7 day averages of the proportions of fully vaccinated and unvaccinated patients hospitalized on wards and ICUs in Ontario. Okay, let's see. What does the dashboard say? Here, let's share this for you guys. Let's share this for everybody so that we can see. let's give you guys a little sneak peek here. Okay. So, current status in Ontario. September 7th, 2022. Current status. The estimated number of cases per day rate and percentage are predicted. Okay. Where's the numbers? Just want the numbers. Come on, give me the numbers. Just do. This is not very accessible. Okay. Daily COVID-19 hospital occupancy in Ontario. That's what I want. That is what I want. Where is the fucking number? Okay. Here we go. As of September 7th. Oh, it's a fucking .png. Oh my god. Way to be accessible, Ontario government. Holy shit. Wow. That's fucking sad. This is a government website, and I literally cannot read any of the figures because they are .png files. Way to break your fucking the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act there, government. Well done. Well done. Holy shit. Remind me to clip this section out later. Or somebody else, I don't know, somebody else do it. But Jesus Christ. Like, all of these are figures that I cannot read with a screen reader, which is against AODA. And it's the freaking Ontario government's own dashboard. Slow clap for the Ontario government, people. Slow clap. Slow clap. Oh boy. Oh my god. that's I can't help but laugh at that because that's just like, oh my god. How pathetic is that? Okay. Okay. So, our next article is about a father and a toddler and another disabled kid who is a preteen. Now, I want you to figure out if this is the actual ableism article or not. Let's get this shared. And I want you guys just to see, just by looking at the title, just if you think this is the article that is showing the actual ableism or not. Here we go. So this I also found yesterday, and I had to grab it. So for anybody who is not looking at the screen or can't, this headline says, "Dad refusing to ask daughter to apologize is praised." Yeah, that's the headline. So we're going to take a look here at this article. Um, let's see. This says a father has been called an ableist by his brother and his new girlfriend. The brother's new girlfriend, not even a long term girlfriend, a new girlfriend. A father has been called an ableist and his new girlfriend because of his toddler's reaction to her preteen daughter who is disabled or reportedly disabled. In the post, user Willing Mountain 843 describes how tensions ran high at a recent family barbecue. He describes how my family and quote, "My family and I were there, specifically my brother Anthony and his new girlfriend Sarah, female 39, and Anthony is 40. Um it had been a while since we all got together. So while I knew about Sarah, I didn't know that Sarah had a daughter, Maisie, who is a preteen. I would guess Maisie has some sort of chromosomal disorder. She is severely disabled and operates on the same capacity of a baby. So even less capacity than the toddler. Okay. Also, she also has quite significant facial deformities. All right. So this goes on to say, quote, "Long story short, Tessa, who is this guy's daughter, the toddler, was terrified of Maisie, burst into tears, and hit against my wife. We had to take Tessa into another room, and she was getting hysterical and wouldn't stop, babbling about the quote monster, obviously mortifying, and we quickly packed up and left." Okay, so they did what they could. They did the right thing, right? She was upset. In order to not make other people upset, he took the little girl home. That's what I would have done, honestly. And I'm disabled. Like, granted, I'm not I don't have like visible physical disability like that, but still. Here's the dilemma. Anthony and Sarah were understandably pissed and want Tessa to apologize to Maisie. I flat out rejected this. Anthony and Sarah are calling us ableist assholes. Now, Sarah, again, is a new girlfriend. So Anthony is clearly trying to keep things kosher, as it were. Now, I would not make a toddler apologize. Especially, like, I hate to say this, but did Maisie even know what was going on? Or is this the mom being upset on her behalf? Because Maisie, as it was stated, just give the kid a hockey mask, problem solved. But I mean, like, does this really feels like this is the mom being offended on her daughter's behalf, and brother, because mom is new, is a new girlfriend, is being like super, like, yeah, you're an ableist asshole, and fuck the fact that you're my brother and this chick's only been in my life a few months. Like, it's weird. Elwin, yay. Let's see. Family argument. So, let's see. He argues that instead of causing more upset to anyone, the father would prefer to work with his daughter to get over her fear rather than forcing his daughter to apologize for her fear. I am adamant that Tessa did nothing wrong and should not be forced to apologize for her fear. She is a toddler. Yes. Yes. Like, okay. My cousin, she's, how much younger is she than me? She's like 15 years younger than I am. But she had pink eye when she was like 1 or 2 years old. And to get her to take her medicine, her father told her, if you don't let me put these drops in your eye, you're going to go blind like your cousin, right? So she was terrified of me for like a year every time she saw me. Was I mad at her? No, because she's little, and like, I was mad at her father. I was like, why would you tell her that? Like, now she's scared of me and it's your fault. Like, but even the father didn't do anything wrong. The daughter didn't do anything wrong. This is, ugh. Anyway, parenting website Very Well Family suggests, don't try to convince your child that someone with a disability is just like they are. Instead, give them knowledge that they are different, but also make them understand that just because someone is different than they are, that they're not bad. Yeah. It recommends making it clear some people are born with disabilities and some develop them, and sharing that your child knows that there's nothing at all wrong with a person with a disability, and making sure they understand the difference between a physical and a cognitive disability. In a comment with over 15,000 likes, user Strong Blueberry, yep, 5,000 for uh anyway, Strong Blueberry wrote, not the asshole. Honestly, toddlers can react like that to able-bodied people too. They are simply too young to understand the world or how their actions impact people around them. Yeah, because they're toddlers. While it's unlikely that a toddler can be accused of treating someone differently due to a disability, ableism is a word we are hearing more and more in today's society. Ableism is defined by Merriam-Webster as the discrimination by prejudice or prejudice against individuals with disabilities. Chicago-based disabilities, blah, 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 describes ableism as the idea that the world was not built with disabled people in mind, and therefore the world is inherently ableist. Then unalive yourself, you whiny prick. I can't believe that's an actual disability activism standpoint. Like, I'm sorry, but the world is not built with any specific community in mind. All right? Do you know why? Because we're all in this shit together, and it's all fucking survival of the fittest, just with more sophistication. All right? I'm sorry that you don't like that, but that's reality. Okay? Not every group has a special little space that's built just for them on this planet. Okay? It just doesn't happen. So, no shit, the world's not built for disabled people. It's not built for any group of people. It's not technically built at all. If you really want to play semantics. This world was just created out of fucking dust and gas a long fucking time ago. And circumstances happened so that we ended up evolving into monkeys that can talk. All right? Deal with it. I just fucking deal with it. I'm sorry. This whole sense of this world wasn't built for disabled people, so it's inherently ableist, and it's never not going to be ableist. Well, then you know what? Leave the world. Either figure out how to live within the world that's there and figure out how to adapt it to what you need, like everybody else does, whether they're disabled or not. It's just that being disabled means we have to do more adapting than the average person. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's all. And if you don't like how disabled people are viewed in your area, then work to change that shit. Don't just sit there and be like, this world isn't built for us, so it's inherently ableist, and I'm just going to go through my life being a whiny, victimy, angry activist online. Like, come on. For crying out loud. Okay. So here's our next story. And it's going to be, let's see if you can figure out if you thought that was the actual article or disability or ableism article, put a one in chat. I guess I'm not going to see very many ones in chat. If you thought that was the this is bullshit ableism, put a 2 in chat. Let's see here. Here's our next article. Okay. 2. Spittlebuggies on that. Spittlebuggies is on that shit. All right. So, here we go. This video or this article has a video as well. So I'm going to try to read the article and then see if I can play the video. A wheelchair user filmed herself dragging her body to the bathroom on a plane after the cabin crew refused to help. Wow. Okay. Not very hospitable of you, cabin crew. I'm pretty sure you guys are still in the hospitality service. But okay. Jenny Berry's video showing herself or showing her dragging herself across the floor of a flight. Okay, so this is the video, or this is the still frame from the video. A woman was filmed dragging herself to a plane bathroom after she said its crew wouldn't assist her. The video posted by Jenny Berry, a wheelchair user, has racked up 5 million views on TikTok. She said without this footage, disabled people simply aren't believed. Unfortunately, she's not wrong. There are a lot of stories that I could tell even where and people are like, "Nah, that can't be true." Go behind her? Yeah, but like I said, how are they supposed to help her when the aisle is only one person wide? Go behind her. You you ask first of all, you ask how you can assist. You say the aisle's pretty narrow. I'm not sure if your wheelchair is going to fit through. Um is it okay if I carry you? Is it okay? Like, are you able to walk? Do you just need me to go behind you and steady you? Are you fully paralyzed? Like, you know what I mean? I've done this. It's not part of their job description. You need to get proper seating. So, like Spittle Buggies says, you need to get proper seating. Is there Spittle Buggies on the planes you've traveled on? Is there handicapped seating, like wheelchair accessible seating on planes? Because I have not ever been on an airplane. Okay, yeah. Her drag, yeah, yeah. There should be disabled or handicapped seating next to the restroom at the front of the flight. That's where um so on the Via Rail trains, when I go on the trains, that's where they put the people in the wheelchair. There's a seat specifically for wheelchair users right by the bathroom. And there are two bathrooms on each train car. Um and so I usually ask to be sat like right in front of that where the wheelchair seat is. I usually ask to sit right in front of that seat. It's complicated. Because I know that because of room, a lot of people have to pack their wheelchairs. Okay, they have special wheelchairs that they cart you in on, but the seats are usually normal, regular seats that are next to the restrooms. Okay. So either she didn't assist that she didn't insist that she be sat in the proper seating, or let's see. A woman has gone viral on TikTok after sharing the video of her degrading of her degrading experience as a wheelchair user needing to use the bathroom on a flight. Jenny Berry from the UK was filmed dragging her body down the aisle of a Albastar plane after she said that the crew or that the Spanish flight crew from or failed to help her on the flight from Newcastle to Pamplona, Spain. In her video, which has garnered over 5 million views, Barry added that a crew member told her that disabled people should just wear diapers to avoid such a situation. Yeah, not the right thing to say. Not okay. Like, even if she wasn't in the seating next to the bathroom and it was frustrating and all of that, like, saying to an adult that is traveling independently that you should wear diapers so that people don't have to help you, like, fuck off. And I've been told something similar when I've asked for help, like finding a like the next part of my destination. I've been told, well, why are you out by yourself if you don't know where you're going? You shouldn't be wandering around. If you don't know where you're going, you should have somebody sighted with you. So why wasn't she seated near the front? That's what I'm wondering. Open the window and hang her butt out. Okay, they have the video. Really good life. Where's the play button? I just want to watch the video. Is this the video link? Oh, here it is. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny. I'm a wheelchair user and I'm paralysed from the waist down. I've recently been on holiday and this is how I get onto a plane, usually using an aisle chair. This is what they got me onto the plane with, but unfortunately on my flight they didn't have an aisle chair on board.
Okay.
So the flight with Albastar didn't get off to a great start. As you can see, they wouldn't let me sit anywhere near the front of the plane, even though there were spare seats.
Oh.
Then when I asked if I could go to the toilet, they said no, that they wouldn't help, and they just proceeded to keep serving the drinks, which is great. So this is when I actually got to the toilet itself. This is my partner helping lift me onto the toilet. Obviously, this is quite a small space, so it was a bit of a struggle. But when you've got to go, you've got to go. So this is what we had to do. One staff member quite rudely told me that disabled people should just wear nappies on board, which I find bizarre that people think that that is the solution to this scenario. They said there wasn't enough room for an aisle chair, even though they had room to have drinks trolleys, perfume trolleys, and cigarette trolleys. Every other flight I've been on has had an aisle chair. There's a lot of improvements to be made when it comes to access within the travel industry, and I hope they're made soon.
That's not okay. So they refused to let her sit at the front where there were spare seats. That's not okay. That's not all right. And then they made a decision not to have an aisle chair on board, which is, I'm guessing, the type of chair that Spittle Buggies was talking about. Which is, again, if you can have room for the trolleys, then you should have room for at least one aisle chair. And so that's all against the airflight or the airline, that they wouldn't accommodate her at all. Now, and I don't want to like shit on her because that's a really bad situation to be in. I probably would have tried to push a little bit more strongly for a front seat. I don't, like, she doesn't say whether or not she did. But that's the only thing I can I can think of. But honestly, this is pretty much all bad on the airline, in my opinion. At least that's my take. And our last story is from Teen Vogue. And it's a throwback. Now, if you were on Twitch with me over the summer, you will remember my stream about the home carers or child carers, young carers from the UK who are doing things that no child should have to do for their parents or their other siblings. This article came out, I believe, on Friday. So we're going to take a look at this now. Oops. Okay. And this one is called Youth Caregivers. Should be called Child Slavery. Youth Caregivers. The challenges of providing home care for disabled relatives. No, call it child slavery. The degradation of what it's like to take care of somebody who should be taking care of you. It's okay, Maddie. Wait, so if they did the board disabled people first, then they really had no reason to. They had no reason not to seat her at the front. Hey, Black Star, as long as you're having caffeine, it's fine. Okay. So this is a Teen Vogue series about disability injustice. It's a package exploring where the fight for disability justice stands. Okay. So this was posted September 23rd. All right. So this is a picture of a 9-year-old. Just so you know, that's headlining that top. This story is published as part of Teen Vogue's 2022 Economic Security Project Fellowship. Because being a young carer has everything to do with that. Let's see here. Lizzie's mom has had sacral agenesis since birth. The condition impacts her mom's spinal cord and makes it difficult for her to walk without assistance. As a single parent for most of Lizzie's life, Lizzie's mom was the primary caregiver for Lizzie and her sisters. Well, she wasn't. She could conceive 3 children. She should be able to fucking take care of them. Sorry. If I understand that you have trouble walking, but if you're able to fuck and make the children, okay, then you can take care of the children. If you choose to keep them. All right? If you make the decision to keep the children and not adopt or have an abortion, then you be the caregiver. The children did not ask you to bear them, okay? You made that choice, and you made that choice despite your disabilities. This is why when, with my kids, like, do I have them help me find stuff around the house? Yeah. But do I expect them to, like, Oh, I'm blind. I can't cook. You get food for me. Oh, I'm blind. To my oldest, oh, I'm blind. I can't take your brother to school. You do it. No, fuck that. I had them. I bore them. My husband and I made them. It is our job to take care of them. Whether I'm blind or not, it's my job to figure out ways around how to take care of them. And it's her job to figure out how to take care of them, working around her spinal issues. It is not their job to take care of her at all. Fuck that. And fuck these journalists for making it seem like these kids are little heroes and not exposing this for the child slavery that it is, and state sanctioned at that when it comes to the UK. I have my daughter help, but not like these people are expecting. Right. Exactly. Exactly. You there's a difference between teaching your child what it is to be a helpful person and depending on your child to do the things that you should be doing, and that there is no business why you cannot adapt to do them. There is a humongous difference. Like, technically speaking, I would say since the age I could stand up and probably, go and grab something that she couldn't reach or something like that, Lizzie tells Vogue, but describing her earliest memories of taking care of her mom. But is that really being a caregiver? I don't know. The responsibilities of maintaining the household and caring for their mother were shared between sisters. Now 23 years old and living in New York City, Lizzie, who asked to withhold her last name to protect her family's privacy, says that early on, much of the weight fell on her oldest sister. As she and her youngest sister became old enough to help out more, the balance shifted. Oh. So she's like the youngest or the middle child. And this woman was like, yeah, I have a lot of trouble doing stuff, and I'm already depending on one kid. I know, I'll make more kids, so that way I won't have to do anything. Fuck. That makes me angry. At 16 years old, Lizzie started working as her mother's legal care worker to earn money for the work she was already doing at home. And she described the hiring process as complicated and cumbersome, with plenty of paperwork, detailed requirements, and specific illnesses like tuberculosis. The qualifications make sense because caregivers often interact with the most vulnerable population. Here's a fucking thought. How about if you're a minor, you shouldn't be working as a full-time caregiver, and the state should not be allowing that? And how about, especially if you're a family member and a minor, you shouldn't be doing that? Because you do not have the mental capacity to make the decision as to whether or not you are capable of it. As an adult, you can at least go, you know what? I can do some of this, but I can't do all of it. So let's figure out a family schedule, or let's hire a part-time person or something. You don't have any of those options. You don't have the money to hire a part-time person. That should be what your fucking parents do. If they need help, I'm sure there are subsidy programs. I know there are some in Canada. My best friend actually works for a quadriplegic and is paid by the government because his home health care is subsidized through the government. So I'm fairly sure that there are other things like that through the NHS and stuff like that. This pisses me off. Hello, Selective Boy. Like, if you are capable of making children as a disabled person, then you are capable of taking care of them. And it should not be their job to take care of you, especially like if you've been like disabled for your entire life and you just have kids so that you have help. Like, which really, this is what it feels like. You get paid $13 an hour, says Lizzie. There's really nothing that draws you into it besides the fact that you're like, I'm going to do this anyway, right? So I may as well get $13 and jump through all the herps. State lawmakers recently approved the $2 an hour wage increase. Ooh! For home care workers to take effect October 1st. So this is in the States. So it's not only happening in the UK, it's also happening in the States. We do have a lot of students in AACY who, because of the caregiving they're doing at home, are not able to focus on school assignments like homework or projects they have to take home. Because of that, they're not able to socialize, or they're a little bit more isolated because of that responsibility. So they don't get to be a kid, you know what I mean? Or they miss out on regular childhood experiences. Why are you okay with this? State-sanctioned allowance. Yeah. No. They're not paying kids to do chores, spittle buggies. They're paying kids to take care of their parents. Like clean up, like not only just do the chores and stuff that a normal kid would do, but like help their parents into bed, get them dressed, wash them if they need to be washed. You know, shit that a fucking actual home care person that goes through training should be doing. Human health services stuff. Yeah. Human health services stuff. Kids are getting paid $13 an hour to do human health services shit for their parents and relatives. And nobody sees a fucking problem with this. Like, this article is like, oh, look at this. This is so challenging. Look at these these kids. Aren't they amazing? Not, look at these horrible parents and the horrible states that allow this shit. And you know why? You know why it's not like that? Because nobody wants to call out disabled people for doing this shit. You guys want to fucking hear a hot take here? This is another form of ableism. It's ableism via fear of hurting the disabled person's fifis by telling them the truth. Because the poor disabled people, they can't possibly handle a hard reality of what they're doing and that it's wrong. So instead, we're just going to state-sanctioned child fucking slavery. Because God forbid we fucking help people by providing more subsidy for human health services workers and punish the people who refuse to take that help and force their children into this. Because as I said, as a minor, you don't have the mental capacity to decide, no, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. Short of fucking running away from home or getting emancipated at 16. Those are your two options if you're a minor. Run away or emancipation. And governments are okay with this shit. This is okay. And God forbid we tell the disabled people that this is wrong. Kids aren't allowed to be kids and learn and play anymore. Nope. Nope. No, they're not. This makes me so angry every time I talk about this, because it's like, how can people look at this and think that, like, and be like, oh, well, you know, it's sad, but it's a necessary evil. Bitch, no, it isn't. Like, how is anybody okay with, like, being complacent and letting this shit happen? Why is nobody screaming at their politicians about this and screaming for more subsidy for human health? You know what we should do? Here's something. Since we have such an aging population, and you know, we're dealing with disabilities more. You want to talk about student loans and shit like that? Here's an educational program I wouldn't mind the government subsidizing. If you want to go into nursing or home health care or personal support work, your education costs should be 50% subsidized. Not 100%, but 50%, so that you can at least, you know, afford to pay your tuition. And if you graduate with a little bit of debt, you can pay it off at least. And then more people would want to go into that, because those jobs are fucking high paying jobs for a reason, right? Like the PSW job, you can make like $30 an hour doing PSW jobs. So, like, that is an educational thing that we should be subsidizing. But hey, they used kids in coal mines. Necessary evil my ass, right? This shit gets in place behind closed doors, behind the people's back. Yep. These are the things that get stapled to the backs of important bills. You know, how they did it in what was it? The Simpsons, where they just stapled the thing on the back of the bill and it got passed. Oh God, this makes me angry. All right, guys, I'm going to end this and give my voice a rest because it's starting to get a little rough. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. I will be back on Twitch tomorrow for Beat the Blind Girl. Pink Hollow is going to be editing the fourth and fifth episode reviews of Rings of Power. He's just been stupidly busy the past week, so that's why those videos aren't out. And I'm going to start uploading on my own. I'm going to start reading, because if you look behind me, let me move my chair. These boxes over here is the Silmarillion. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes with 5 Braille volumes apiece in them. I am going to record myself reading a chapter at a time in a video each and posting them to the channel. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Stay tuned for that. And also check out the short I posted today. I made that myself with iMovie. So I hope you enjoy that as well. Thank you very much. Let's see. See you later, everybody. Have a great day. And I'll see you on Twitch tomorrow. Bye, guys.